Hey, what's going on, guys? Base Slacker here, and today I want to show you something that I think is pretty cool. That's OpenRC running on Slackware Linux, as it's a init system. So in case you don't know, just a little background, Slackware ships with a sysvinit style init system. It's bare bones by design. It works. It works just fine, and it works well. Um, but during my time running Gentoo, I really became fond of OpenRC. I think it's an awesome init system, and when I found out that you pretty much slap it right into Slackware, I said, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's try it out. And it's been awesome so far for me. Two things that I've found that don't work was the UFW script, because I use uncomplicated firewall. It's just easy. But the UFW service was not working for me. But that's fine because that was easily worked around with a local start script, which we'll get into that on how to do those. And then one other thing that's kind of strange is that in your terminal, like your TTY, when you first start up your computer and you log in and you don't even get into a graphical environment yet, ncurses draws lines incorrectly. And what I mean by that is, you can see here that the lines drawn by ncurses in my terminal right now are just fine. But when I'm in my TTY, like one little line is represented by a string of characters about like this long. And it's gobbledygook, but eventually, it runs off into off the screen. And it's very bizarre. It's just very, very strange. It works, it still works, don't get me wrong, but if you're a guy that works in your terminal before you start up your graphical environment and you use ncurses a lot, it's going to be annoying. It's going to be very strange. I haven't really looked into the issue because it's not bothering me that much, because as you can see, by my dumb little rice, I like a terminal-like graphical setting anyways. So I pretty much just I kind of like working in the terminal, like in the TTY, just for like aesthetic reasons, I suppose, for some things. But for the most part, I do most everything in X because I have terminals here. But anyways, I'm going on. I'm rambling now. I'll show you that at the end of the video. But if this is something you want to add to your Slackware, it's very simple. Just follow the guide, follow the video, and you will have a working OpenRC Slackware build in no time. Anyways, guys, hope you stick around. Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome back. So I have here a brand new, fresh install of Slackware. Don't let my settings fool you. This is brand new. I just have all my files on a thumb drive, and it's just a super easy process for me. And I like working in this. But this is brand new, and as you can see, our Slackware is not yet based. Right? We do not have OpenRC installed. So I have over here. I have the instructions. Now, this is extremely simple. Pretty much all you have to do is copy and paste. Alright, so we'll go over this. I'm going to copy and paste everything that I need to get a working installation going. And you can follow along. You can watch this and then pull up the link that I'm going to have down in the description below. And you can follow along too. So without further ado, let's get started. So first and foremost, what we're going to have to do is we're going to go, let me change to sudo here really quick. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to go to SBO package. And if you don't know how to use SBO package, I'm sure there's a tutorial out there. I'm sure you can find it. But I'm probably going to end up doing like some like a Slackware boot camp kind of videos, with SBO package and Slack package and just basic Slackware stuff. So stay tuned for that. But we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna search for OpenRC. So Again, sorry for my color scheme here. It's pretty terrible in ncurses. But you'll see OpenRC and OpenRC services. Go ahead and add those to the queue. And we're going to process that queue. And these two packages are really small, so it's not going to take long to build and install those. And guys, I want to apologize for like my sound setup and my my capture card and stuff. I'm capturing on it kind of an old laptop. I know it doesn't sound so great, so I just want to apologize for that. Anyways, when that's done, go ahead and clear the queue. We can exit out of SBO package. Alright, so after installation, some steps are needed. Alright, so we're going to set up our Getty services, or our Getty service is just the generic name for it. Essentially what a Getty service is, stand by for the retard explanation of a Getty service, but essentially a Getty is what opens up your terminal, opens up a TTY for you to log into and use. I believe that's pretty much bare bones basic explanation of what a Getty is. Alright, so we're going to copy and paste this. Of course, I can't just double click to get the whole line. Hey, and look at that. See that little green asterisk right there? That is a staple of OpenRC. We're on our way to getting more badass as we speak. So I have to tediously copy and paste it. Oh my gosh. So annoying. Just tediously copy and paste that. I can't just double click to get the whole line here. Alright, so we did our main TTY. Now if you want additional TTYs, which if you're like me you do, you can just copy and paste this whole thing into there. I know in XFCE I was working in a VM. XFCE will like give you a warning, hey, this could harm your computer, just hit OK. Alright, look at that. Now we have TTY 1 through 6 added to run level default. And if you don't know, if you've never used OpenRC before, run level default is the run level for like boot time. So basically what it's saying is that TTY 1 through 6 is going to be started at boot time. Alright, let's move down. Serial TTY for servers. I don't need that, so I'm going to go ahead and skip. Alright, now we're going to add this to our boot parameters. I don't use Lilo. I know that's the default bootloader for Slackware, but I always use Grub just because, not that there's anything wrong with Lilo, there's just not a lot of documentation out on it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up vim /etc default grub, and I'm going to come on over here. And actually, since I'm in nvim, I can go ahead and copy and paste. Oops. I didn't do it right though. Oops. There we go. Alright, so you'll see in the command line, grub command line Linux, put that in there if you're using grub. Lilo, I don't know, you're going to have to figure out, because I haven't used Lilo in years, dude. So you're going to have to figure out where to put kernel boot parameters in your configuration. Alright, so go ahead, right quit, and then I'm going to actually I'm going to copy and paste that so I don't have to type that whole thing. Oh, it'd be faster though at this point. Alright, beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and enable boot logging. So I'm going to nvim, or vim if you don't have nvim installed. I literally only installed nvim. I did SBO package, Slack package plus, and I updated to the newest current configuration, and I put nvim on just so that I can copy and paste pretty much because I like nvim. So anyways, let's go to etc OpenRC and then rc.conf, and we're going to find RC logger, and make sure you uncomment that and put in yes, right quit. Oops. Right quit. Or shift ZZ. It's just bred into me if I can do right, colon right quit. Alright, so now that we have that done, we have boot logging done, we can actually go ahead and reboot. Alright, so, moment of truth. Oops. And if all went according to plan, you'll see your boot up time, or your boot up will look different. It probably is a faster boot up time. I don't think I explained this. On solid state drives, I don't think there's going to be much of a difference. If you're still spinning Rust, I think you'll probably see a bit of a difference because OpenRC supports parallel booting, whereas sysvinit does not. So you probably will see a difference if you're on an actual hard drive. Hey, there we go. Look at that. So now we got OpenRC. And we're at our login. Look at that. Got kind of a weird formatting there, but oh well, that'll probably get fixed up next time. So let's go ahead and let's log in. And we're going to check out RC status. And as you see, we have pretty much bare bones. There's not a lot of services going on. It might kind of look like a lot just because we have 6 TTYs running. So I just went through all 6 to make sure they were all there. But other than netmount and local, we don't have a lot running. So essentially what we're going to have to do, you can either enter into your graphical environment and do it there, or we can do it here. So when it comes to services, I know the services that I need. Well, at least the services I think that I need. Some of them I definitely know I need. Network Manager, UDEV, modules, dbus, eLogin, stuff like that. That you're pretty much everybody is going to need. So one thing that I did was before I enabled OpenRC, I went in and I basically took a picture of all of my services that were marked as executable in init. Then I just went in and I hand jammed and I added the services manually that I thought that I needed, and then there was a few that I found out that I needed. Mainly actually trying to hook up a controller to Steam, which that'll probably be a different video. Anyways, I'm going to start adding some processes here. So I'm going to go sudo rc update add, and then let's do dev default. Alright, perfect. So what I did here is I added udev to run level default. So what that means is, again, when you reboot your computer, when your computer starts up, run level default, everything that's in run level default will be started at boot time. So let's go ahead and let's RC status. Now we see udev added to run level default, and you actually see it started. udev was started at boot time. There's a few other things. I think there's one other thing that started at boot time and we didn't have it enabled, but for the rest of the stuff that I'm going to be adding, you're going to see that it stopped, which is fine. As soon as you don't have to sit there and hand jam it and start these processes, you can just reboot your computer and they'll start automatically. So let's add a few more. So I have udev, I'm going to add modules, and I'm going to show you how to use the modules configuration file later. Let's add dbus. Let's do network manager, and I do believe it needs to be capitalized.
We're going to do sysk logged. We're going to do acpid. I'm going to do cronny, even though it's not installed yet, but I will have it installed. elognd. Fuse. GPM. Net mount. Oh, we already actually have net mount added, so we don't have to do that. NTPD. And we already have local, so we're good. We're pretty much done. So let's do RC status again. I'll show you what I meant by stopped services. Alright, so you'll see over here we have a bunch of stopped services. That's fine. When I restart, they will all be restarted as well. When I do restart, there's probably going to be something about cronning and something about NTPD having some time skew. Now, let's say you figure, hey, I don't need one of those services. Very simple, same thing. Just instead of, oh, here we go. Just instead of add, you do delete, right? And then it would delete it off of the default list. So there's actually a service here that I do not want started at boot time because it represents a security hazard, and that is Bluetooth. So how do I get that started? Simple. Sudo rc service, if I can type, Bluetooth start. Alright, so you'll see how it's starting dbus. It won't say, when you reboot your computer and dbus is already started, it won't say starting dbus. It'll just say starting Bluetooth. So let's check out our RC status again. Okay, so now you'll see Bluetooth and run level manual. That's because I manually started it. Now if I wanted to stop it, same thing, stop. Just like that. Alright, and you're not even going to see it if it's in the manual. Alright, just because Network Manager, there's a bunch of stuff that's not going to work. My Wi-Fi is not going to work right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reboot. So let's sudo reboot. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. There's actually a workaround. So your sudo reboot and your sudo power off will not work right now. There is actually a file that we're going to have to put in, which I'll show you how to get it. And I'll probably, by the time this goes up, I'll probably make a GitHub for all my downloads and stuff like that I'm going to show you here. Alright guys, we're back. And as you can see, I restarted. All I did was just restart. And all of my services pretty much came up. The only thing that I did also was install cronny really quick, and I started that one manually. So now we're going to get into configuration side of all this. We're almost there. We're almost done. The hardest part, I think, is just adding your service. Well, actually, that's not exactly true. I think the hardest part is probably adding your your local start scripts and configuring kernel modules to be started at boot. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do that now. And let's add, oh geez, man, I messed my stuff up. Here, hold on, there we go. I don't know why that wasn't going back to tiled mode. It was just staying floating. Anyways, so let's find where we stop. So we enable, okay, so there's a great big old thing here on enabling services and deleting services and adding services, yada yada yada. Look that up, and if you you really should be intimately acquainted with your init-system. Probably your best resource for OpenRC be the Gentoo wiki. Gentoo wiki is awesome nonetheless. I think it's a step under the Arch wiki as far as just the amount of information that you're going to get from it. It's real close. Like, it's real close comparatively, in my opinion. But as far as OpenRC is concerned, you're not going to get any better information anywhere else than the Gentoo wiki. So pull that up, understand it, know what OpenRC is capable of, and you'll have a good time with this. Alright, so keep going, let's keep on going. So, configuration. Alright, let's go over, let's do local first, local start scripts, and then we'll go over modules. Alright, so, let's cd into /etc. I hope I'm going to the right place. OpenRC and local. Yep. Okay. So we're in the local.d directory. Let's ls. Oh God. Let me go ahead and install ls deluxe. Okay. In case you don't know, ls deluxe. I'm just going to go off on this really quick, and then I'm going to fast forward through a bit. ls deluxe, LSD. Is like a cooler version of ls. So just cargo install lsd. Alright, and this is cargo is Rus installer. Just let this install, and then just pay attention to what it says at the end of it, add that to your bash RC, and you're good to go. You're going to have a really cool looking ls. Now that it's installed, it usually says like, oh, make sure to put this in, put this in your bash RC or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it said. Add this path, enable this path. You'll see that home base/slacker.cargo/bin. Basically just add that to your .bash RC. So let's go nvim. I'll just show you really quick because I'd feel bad if you mess something up. Yeah, you got to export path right here. So basically just copy this, and it should tell you like add this to your bash RC or something like that, and you'll be able to use it. Okay, anyways, alright, so now that we've got LSD installed, well, at least I've got LSD installed. It's not required or anything, but we'll go ahead and ls, and we're going to see two things. We're going to see rcm.start and readme. Alright, now rcm.start, that is what you call a start service. If it had .stop behind it, it would be a stop service. So .start, if you make this executable and you have the local service added to the default runtime, that RCM will be started at boot time. Okay, so you'll see that, for me, I know it's not executable because it's not green and it's not marked as like a script. So I'll show you all how to change that. If you're going to have to check it manually. So chmod +x rcm.start. Oops, excuse me. I needed to sudo. All right, now I'm in the ls. Okay, you'll see that it's basically started. It's a script now. It's an executable script, and it's green for me. I know it's going to get started by local. So I'm actually going to see. There's one other thing that I want to add into here, and that's OpenRC files. Okay, so this is my own folder that I've made. So I want to do that, and then I want to go into local. And this has some files that I need for my OpenRC install. The uinput.start, I'm actually going to ignore that because I was using that to start uinput at boot time, but I can actually do that with kernel modules, with the module service, so I'm going to wait on that. I saved the old rcm.start. I don't need that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to sudo cp ufw. If you don't know what UFW is, it's uncomplicated firewall. So I like that. I think it's just easy, but the UFW script that's included with OpenRC is not working for me. So I made my own. I just used the Slack builds script file, the commands that was given in the Slack builds README, and I just made my own start script essentially. Like I didn't make, that makes it sound like I'm some elite hacksaw. I didn't make it. I just copy and pasted what they said to put in the rc.local file for sysvinit. Okay, so super simple. I'll copy it over and then I'll vim into it and I'll show you exactly what it is. So /etc OpenRC and local. All right, so let's see if I can get back in there. Okay, so now you'll see I have my ufw.start. So I'm gonna nvim to ufw.start. Okay, and this is all it is. And you'll find this if you do end up using UFW. You'll find this little init script on the Slack builds README. Right, so just pop that into a text file, name it ufw.start, or you can name it whatever .start. As long as you put .start and you make it executable, it will get started at runtime. If you added a .stop, then it would get stopped when you shut the computer down. Okay, or hit reboot or power off or whatever. Now, let's talk a little bit about kernel modules. Okay, so where exactly do we find the kernel modules configuration file? Well, right here. Let's go ahead and copy that, and then I'm going to nvim, well, sudo nvim actually, else I wouldn't be able to do that. Paste that in. Okay, so here's your modules configuration file. It's dummy simple. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and insert, and for me, I need u input. Alright, do not forget to uncomment that. Okay, the reason why I need u input is because when I switch from sysvinit to OpenRC, my Steam, well, not my Steam controller, but my PlayStation controller stopped working for Steam. Alright, so it ended up being that the u input kernel module was not being loaded at boot time. So that's a pretty common problem. Well, I don't want to say a common problem, but it is a problem in Gentoo that I found out that if sometimes you need to specifically say, hey, I want u input to be loaded by I can't remember what service actually is supposed to load that. But anyways, so now that I've done that, and I'm going to rc status. Okay, so I made sure that my modules service is added to the default runtime. I'm going to just nvim back into that, make sure it's all good. Yep, uncommented, u input. Alright, we're good. So u input is going to be added at runtime, and my start script for uncomplicated firewall is going to be started at runtime as well. So let me sbo package, let me sudo that first, and let's do ufw, and I'm going to show you guys. So uncomplicated firewall, yep, that's it right there. I'm just going to install this really fast. And now what I'm going to do, just to make sure that I'm going to show y'all, so sudo ufw status, okay, inactive. I'm going to go ahead, actually, you know what, before we reboot, let's nail this stuff down here really quick, this shutdown and reboot. Alright, so once again, I think I'm going to do a GitHub, and I think I'm going to upload these scripts that I made. But in order to do reboot, right? So let's do sudo reboot. Okay, could not determine run level. Doing soft reboot, blah 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 blah. It's not doing anything. Okay, and that's because the reboot command is not working right now. So let me cd into my OpenRC files and user, I think it is. Yep, okay. User local sbin scripts, and I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but okay, cool. So I have reboot and shutdown. So let's nvim reboot. Okay, so here's the script for my reboot. Oops, I don't know what happened there. Jesus. And shut down. Okay, and there's my script right there. Essentially, you can go here and you can get the script, and you can basically make your own, make it executable, and you can put it into user, local, sbin, reboot, respectively, or user, local, sbin, and it'll be 2 files, reboot and power off. It should be power off, not shut down. So I'm going to change that when I copy it in there. But I'm going to go ahead and cp reboot to /user. Is it sbin? Okay, local sbin. I keep on forgetting the sudo. Sorry, guys. And then we're going to do shutdown, but I'm going to name it power off because I accidentally named it shutdown. Okay, so we got those added in. Now I'm going to test it. So I'm going to do sudo reboot, and that should shut it down. Then I'm going to test UFW when we come back. Look at that, beautiful. I won't subject you to the reboot. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so we just got back. I just logged in, and I'm going to sudo ufw status active. So our script's working. I just need to configure it now. I haven't configured it or anything. I installed cronny, so you can see that cronny's working. GPM, our GPM obviously is working because I have a working terminal mouse. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, let me show you the ncurses. So I'm going to sudo gosh, SBO package, there we go. Oh, nope, I don't want that. I guess I have the download. Alright, here it is in all its glory. So you can tell that it's lines. It's the lines making the boxes that is turning it into this gobbledygook, right? So as you can see, I mean, it's usable. You can use this, but who would want to use this? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's pretty terrible. All right, let's check out lsblock. lsblock. All right, so same thing right here. You can see that there is gobbledygook right here, where there's supposed to be basically, lines coming from the disk into the different partitions and stuff like that. And it's supposed to look pretty, but it looks like straight dog shit now. So again, if that's a deal breaker for you, then I understand not doing it and whatnot. So take that what you will. But for me, especially with the way I have my X server set up, my graphical user interface, I mean, it's easier for me to do terminal work in my GUI than it is to do it in the terminal, if that makes sense. Sometimes I like doing it just for the aesthetic elite hacksaw feeling that I get from using the terminal. And if I'm gonna do like links or something like that, like let's go to cirx.be, right? Like, I mean, sometimes I like using that in the actual TTY itself, but for the most part, I don't need the terminal. I can have 20 terminals right in front of me at the click of 20 buttons. It's not, and they're all right in front of me, so it's even easier to use it. So it's not a deal breaker for me. And just so that y'all can see, SBO package, I keep doing that. It works just fine in my terminal. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think that's about it. Let me know what y'all think. I know I was kind of rambling on in some parts, but hopefully that was a pretty clear and concise tutorial on how to get OpenRC running on Slackware. But anyways, guys, well, I'm Base Slacker. I really appreciate it. Let me know what y'all think, and have a good day.
Your friends will say you